Hey everyone, hope you're all doing great. Today, I'm here with a Khachapuri tutorial for you. All right, guys, so here I've sprinkled my salt and instant yeast over the flour. Now I'll add in the rest of the ingredients. First, I mix these together. Then I add the sweetened milk powder and sugar and mix that in too. Now I crack in my egg and mix it all together. Next, I gradually add the milk I have. Important, don't add all the liquid at once, or the dough will get too wet. I keep adding liquid just until the dough comes together and there's no dry flour left at the bottom of the bowl. Look everyone, my dough has now come together perfectly, and there's no dry flour left sticking to the bowl. For these little bits of dough, I know that if I add the oil now, the moisture from the oil will help them incorporate. But if your dough still has quite a bit of dry flour, add the oil first, and then slowly add any extra liquid you might need beyond the recipe, spoonful by spoonful, so the dough doesn't get too slack. Now I transfer it to my work surface and start kneading. Okay, guys, once you've kneaded the dough and it passes the window pane test or feels smooth and elastic, place it back in the bowl you used or a clean one, cover it, and let it rest on your counter for about 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, we'll move on to shaping. All right, guys, now we take our dough, which has puffed up a bit, and gently punch it down to release the air. Then, starting from the same spot where I punched it, I divide it into portions. Here's how I do it. After punching it down, I'm dividing it into 4 pieces because I want a smaller batch. But if you want to do it more traditionally, your dough balls should be about 150 grams each. This is how you portion them out. While you're dividing the dough, keep the pieces you aren't working with covered with plastic wrap so they don't dry out. Now, starting from the side where I punched it down, I form a ball. I flip it seam side down onto my work surface. If you feel it might stick, dust your work surface with a little flour. Now, I stretch it into an oval shape. I sprinkle my pizza cheese onto the edges of the dough. Then I take the edge of the dough, pull it up, and fold it over the cheese, pressing down gently so it doesn't unfold during the second rest. Make sure you seal it well like this. If you want it to look more like a traditional boat, shape it this way. But if you prefer, you can also just shape it round. Once you're done shaping, place the dough on a baking sheet, cover it with plastic wrap so it doesn't dry out, and let it rest for about 45 to 1 hour until it doubles in size. Then we'll come back to it. Okay, friends, after the second rest, which took 45 minutes for me, I put the dough in the oven for 15 minutes to bake. Then I'll take it out, crack an egg on top, and put it back in. For the meat khachapuri version, since I'm not a huge fan of the egg on top style, I only made one to show you. For the meat version, after the second rest, sprinkle pizza cheese over the dough base, then add your cooked meat filling, mushrooms, peppers, or whatever else you like. If you want, you can add another layer of cheese over the meat filling. Before putting it in the oven, you can brush the edges of the dough with egg wash and sprinkle sesame seeds on top. Bake in a preheated oven at 180, 190 degrees C, 350, 375 F for 25-30 minutes, or until the bread is golden brown. Note, this time depends on your oven. Yours might be ready in just 15 minutes. All right, guys, now that it's out of the oven, I sprinkle on more pizza cheese, crack an egg on top, and put it back in the oven. This time, I only turn on the boiler, grill, until the cheese melts and the egg white sets, but the yolk stays runny. Then we take it out and enjoy. Check out the result. When you bake it using this 2-stage method, the egg yolk is still beautifully runny while the cheese and egg white are perfectly cooked. When you eat it, you break that runny yolk and mix it with a piece of the soft bread and melted cheese. This bread is incredibly soft and delicious. You definitely have to try it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me.